Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage and right now I'm at the Sundance Film Festival, at least digitally from the comfort of my living room. In the next days and probably weeks, I want to share my thoughts about a lot of brand new films that I will watch at the festival. I'm pretty excited about this because it's my first time attending. The reviews will be a little bit shorter and more in the vein of first impressions and overall thoughts. The first film that I have watched is the American comedy drama When You Finish Saving the World. This one marks a directorial debut by Jesse Eisenberg. It's based on his own audio drama of the same name, which he now adapted for the big screen. It stars Julianne Moore and Finn Wolfhard as mother and son, and this film has a really peculiar vibe that I honestly totally dug. Knowing Jesse Eisenberg through his now 20-year-long acting career, I would say that this film definitely feels like him. It has a certain neurotic, awkward feel and energy to it, a certain cringy nature that's definitely intended, and I found it to be really funny. It's only 90 minutes long and it doesn't want to tell a big or particularly important story, yet our protagonists think they are quite big and important in what they do. And in some regard they are, but then they are also pretty full of themselves, and as the title suggests, it's also about the pretty arrogant notion that our little actions are about saving the world, when our real intentions are much more about stroking our own ego. Both lead characters are pretty narcissistic, and the movie quite nicely juxtaposes these two members of a fairly dysfunctional family. They are different, and yet they are pretty similar as well. The film alternates both storylines. We follow Finn Wolfhard Ziggy, a young teenager who composes and sings these pretty shallow folk pop songs that somehow got him an online following of about 20,000 people. Something he's very proud of. But when he falls for someone who is very interested in politics, he has to face how little he knows about stuff like that. Yet this conflict never goes that deep, and the movie keeps this sweet satirical touch. It doesn't really want to make these characters particularly likable. They are pretty much full of shit, and that's kind of refreshing. Julianne Moore's Evelyn, Ziggy's mother, is the head of a women's shelter. So she's definitely doing something positive. But she also wants to form a young teenager, the son of a woman who just got there, according to what she thinks is best for him. And her interest in him also goes a little bit deeper anyway. Again, it's a strange little film. Jesse Eisenberg alternates these two plot lines, which are bouncing off of each other, but also always becoming one again. Because it's a family after all, and Ziggy and Evelyn are living under the same roof. And so is Roger, the husband to Evelyn and father to Ziggy, who is kind of a funny person himself because the situation is just so bizarre, living with these two narcissists. In one of the most poignant moments, they are both coming home after they have completely forgotten about something that was quite important for him. When You Finish Saving the World has a nice dynamic between the characters. The dialogue is very sharp, it has great comedic timing, and both Julianne Moore and Finn Wolfhard are really fantastic in their roles. Eisenberg is also able to bring a nice aesthetic to his first film. The images have this grainy and kind of overcast look. I also really enjoyed the use of classical music. But most of all, I was just really on the movie's wavelength when it comes to the humor and sweet awkwardness. There's for example this moment when Evelyn is waiting for an elevator and she begins a little conversation with one of her employees. She wants to make small talk, but because she's also just really odd, her employee is afraid that she's about to get fired, and very understandably. When You Finish Saving the World isn't a super complex, deep or masterfully crafted film, but I think it's a pretty nice and somewhat sweet debut feature, and the more I think about it, the more I found myself being charmed by it. It was certainly a really nice start into the festival for me. I give When You Finish Saving the World 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.2, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it for today. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd and also on Patreon, simply at The Jimmy Cage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.